Hey, it's Monday, December 17th, and I'm in Los Angeles. Only for a few more hours.
I know.
We've been planning on doing this podcast. This is our 10th day, and we're just now getting to it. But that's okay. We had a baby shower. We had stuff that we had to do.
Yes.
So, this is, for people that don't know, this is my daughter.
Hello.
Tiana Gandelman, who's great with child.
I am with child.
Yes. And I was just chatting with her saying how there's so many similarities. Last night we were at a dinner and we were talking to people who are in the music business and her husband is, and Tiana has had this great journey. And I feel like so much of your journey is applicable to, it's parallel with the modeling world.
Yes.
And people, even on this trip, were like, wait, how did Tiana end up here? And it really wasn't us.
You helped a little bit. Come on now.
Okay, yeah, a little.
Yeah.
We opened the door.
Yes. You paid for many years of dance.
We're good door openers.
Yes.
But then you have to go through the door and do everything else.
Yes.
So, talk about what was it that kept you going after the dream of being first a professional dancer? Because that's not a typical career.
Well, not when I had the dream, because there was no So You Think You Can Dance. There was no Dancing with the Stars. All we had was music videos.
Yes.
And concerts that aired on HBO. Because mind you, we're from Iowa, so it's not like all these concerts came through Cedar Rapids.
But we also would watch, I vividly remember you watching NSYNC.
Yes.
Or Backstreet Boys, one or the other.
It was NSYNC, it was Janet, and it was Britney. Those three turned my world. And so I remember coming out of high school and just saying, okay, I'm going to go dance. And no one understood. No one.
I understood.
She just, thank God. Thank God for you.
It was like, spread your wings.
Yeah, but, at that point, it just sounded so vague.
Right.
Because what kind of career can you have as a dancer?
Right.
And so I tried New York. Was there for that's what you guys hooked me up with a place to stay.
Yes.
And I went to dance class every single day.
Yes.
And every audition I went to, I never got.
I will verify that.
I didn't book one job. Mentally quit probably 3 or 4 times.
When did the Madonna almost got it and then didn't happen? Was that in New York?
That was in New York. That was a New York situation too.
I remember.
Yes.
It was. Here's what it was. We were visiting St. Louis. It was St. Patrick's Day weekend. You called and you were like, I am done. She was like, I just danced for Madonna and Guy Ritchie. You said they were sitting right in front of you.
Probably. I remember her. But yes, it was a big panel. Yes. And Mia Michaels.
And they cut. Oh, was it? I never realized that.
I'm pretty sure it was her. Yeah.
Well, the thing about the modeling world or the dance world that's different than the modeling world is you find out there.
And you find out in front of everybody.
Yes.
And it's so cutthroat. Yes. And another situation happened like that too. And I remember it was a rainy day in New York and I was crying. I was like, I'm done. And then, of course, then my friends were like, hey, let's go to Los Angeles and try this thing called Carnival. And then while you're there, there's this big audition, and you guys should just try. And I said, okay. And of course, that was the one job I booked, and it was Britney Spears' I'm a Slave for You video and VMAs, which was the ultimate.
Major.
Yes.
And it was also the making of the video special.
When that was a thing.
Because I remember me and Dad and Aaron Kirchner sitting on the floor. Going, there she is.
Yes.
And then I remember too, the part of the video where she goes, I remember we all looked at each other and we were like, dang.
But the reality was when we filmed it, I wanted to stay as far away from center as possible because I was like fresh off the boat, 19 years old. I was like, I'm not getting in the middle of that. I don't know what that is, but I'm not playing.
I'm a good girl from Iowa.
I'm a good girl, and you guys can all you want on her as you please.
But it was so cool. You were right next to her on a lot of the
Yes.
things.
So that's what was so beautiful, is that I had dance in my heart, and I thought in my head it was supposed to be New York, but it led me to LA.
Yes.
And that's when I decided to just say, I think I need to move there, because if I can book that,
yes,
something else is going to come along too.
And we say to our models all the time, and I think it's applicable to anything, you have to go where the opportunity is.
You have to.
And don't have people get so stuck in their head, this is what I see for myself, instead of, and one of the things I'm really proud of you is that you've always been open to what's next.
Yes.
And you'll do the work with no, you're pretty good at not having it, it doesn't have to be all in a pretty package in a box.
No, my expectations are quite low.
Not true.
No, but I can't. How can you predict things? How can you say it needs to be this way when in reality nothing's any way that you plan it anyway?
But here's what's great is that for you, the really great thing is that you've kept moving in the direction, which is what we've tried to impart in all of you, and it's because that's what we've done.
Yes.
Is that we'll go, okay, and we did this, and what's next? And I think the hardest part for most people, as we talk to new up-and-coming aspiring models or models who are now looking at the reality of maybe potentially traveling, is that they like to have it planned, or they like to be able to say, I'm going to give it a year, or whatever the stupid stuff that comes. I'm like, if you want that kind of a life, you should go to college for 4 years and get a job and have it be, here's what my life is going to look like.
It's an easier thing to plan.
Imagine? I mean, we got to go to a taping the other night it was a wrap for The Ranch. And it was so cool because Tiana and she knew people.
I've been here. I've been around.
So it was cool to see all these, and the cool common denominator, which we talked about immediately following, is all those people just kept doing it.
They just kept doing it. And you have to be a pleasure to work with.
Yes.
That's another thing that we talked about, is that a lot of the people who become bitter or jaded, they really take themselves out of the game.
100%.
And they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And then you see that you just want to surround yourself with people who are good energy, who have good energy, who complement the conversations that you guys have, or healthy debates, whatever. But
yes, Tiana has always had. I love her funny words. I wish, through that, she has these phrases.
What'd I say?
I wish I would have written them down through the years, because especially once you lived here and then you were traveling in the circle of the twins and stuff, I was like, where do these things come from? It's like funny little Southern things. But I'll never forget when Tiana said to me about someone. It was pretty early on of you living here. And you were like, I don't know if she's going to make it. She lives too much. She lives in her head.
Yeah.
And maybe you can expand on what that is. Because now once I got that, I'm like, we can see it in our world, or in our models' world, or people that take themselves out who have all the potential in the world, but it doesn't happen. So talk about what that is, to live in your head.
I think essentially it just means that you sadly get in your own way.
Right.
Because you're swimming in these thoughts of what you think it should be, or how I think it's parallel to the whole planning.
Yeah.
And you have to look at the big picture. Right. And you have to consider others, and you have to consider people who work with you, like your managers, your agents.
Yeah.
If you can at least consider what they go through every day, and rather than just like, oh, me, woe is me. Right. Then you will probably succeed a lot better than what you think.
Overthinking, period.
Oh, completely overthinking.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do that. And I don't want to say that I am a simple-minded person, but I don't do that. Hey, welcome to Los Angeles.
Welcome to Los Angeles. There's crime happening.
In Sherman Oaks.
No, I think that I know exactly what you're saying, because I relate to, as simple as it sounds to live day by day, it's the hardest thing in the world.
And I do that naturally.
Me too.
I wonder where I got it from. But it's
the same place you got that laugh, I think.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus. But I think that that's helped me in the sense of not having this plan. Of course I have goals and I have dreams, and they can be this, big, broad strokes, but when it actually comes to a day-to-day, I don't get in my way.
Yeah, I think you get up, you do the activity, you look at what's next, which is another thing that I wanted you to talk about, because I think it's so important. I remember years ago when you were first starting to dance, And it was funny. And same thing happens with models, where the world is like, well, you can't do that forever. What are you going to do after that? And I remember somebody specifically asking that question. And I was like, well, that'll get figured out after this.
Of course.
And you had a solid 10 years of touring and really being a successful dancer on the reality of all the things that you've done and all the places you've performed, award shows and the Olympics.
Yeah.
And, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
But what was it that helped you to go, okay, now I'm going to move in this direction to what you're doing today? Right.
So now I am lucky to be a creative director, a supervising producer, and that happened. I was put in a position to choreograph on a TV show, and I never choreography was not a goal of mine.
Right.
But it came naturally because that's just the transition out of dance. But what I was doing on the show is that I was actually producing more than I realized that I was doing choreography.
Right.
So then I remember telling my manager, hey, I really like working on television. Hey, I really enjoy that side of entertainment. If anything comes up, please let me know.
Right.
And literally probably 2 months later, I get a call, hey, you have an interview with Brian Friedman to work on America's Got Talent. And so what I've come to realize and applied not to myself, but I tell my friends, is how will anyone know what you want if you don't tell them?
Right.
And so that, just by applying that, I've been able to have confidence in emailing people and saying, hey, I want to work with you.
Yes.
Hey, I want to work on your production.
Right.
And I think because of my confidence from dance, knowing that I can do the other stuff, that's what's helped me gone from there to there to there, is that I've just been very honest and vocal.
And clear. And it's really important. I believe in writing goals down, which I know that you do.
Yes.
And also confessing over your life the things that you want.
Yeah.
But also having the conversation. It's helped us too with a model like Myla, for example, to come to us and go, my dream is Sports Illustrated. And for some people to kind of shush that away, but for us to go, okay, let's really talk that through. And not everything will manifest, but it could lead you to something else.
For sure.
Which is the other thing that I've seen happen in your life a lot.
Going from one thing to the next?
Yes.
Well, I think it helps because I just keep saying yes.
Yes.
And if my mama said, mama said, if all the lights are not green, do not go.
Right.
So
if it's not a yes, it's a no.
It's a solid no.
It's a solid no.
Yes. And that's where I think I've been able to.
But you don't stop yourself out of fear. That's the difference.
No, it just maybe time might not make sense, or the proximity, like how far or whatever. I mean, I'll go to Australia, I nothing has really
100%.
stopped me, but I have said yes far more than I've said no.
Last night at the dinner, we ended up sitting with very interesting people, and it was a common theme that for all of them, they did things before they were 100% ready, but they were moving in a direction, and that is my life story.
Right,
like
you do it well.
Thanks.
You do. I love it. I love watching. They always say, "Oh, your parents are your heroes," but you really are not just my hero, but your heroes. You're a hero to so many, and that nothing gets in your way. And if you're like, "No, that's not for me," then okay, listen to her.
Yeah.
Because when it's time to go, you go above and beyond.
Aw, T.
I
So you
love
didn't
you.
expect that.
It's the truth.
I love you too. So we're timing. We're on our time. We're on point.
Oh, good.
What's your best advice to somebody about following a dream that seems unrealistic?
Well, I think you have to not look at anybody else.
Yeah.
You can't watch anybody else's journey.
Right.
You can't look at their social media. You have to
Lord,
laser
say it.
focus on your personal goals, and you have to write it down. Pen to paper is very, very strong in this universe, and God hears it. And I think that if you laser focus a little bit more inward as opposed to outward and comparing yourself, it'll happen.
I just heard today on social media about a woman who, she was actually on The View. It's one of the new hosts, and she was getting criticized a lot, and it was really breaking her down. So she decided that she was just going to make posts and not go and live on social media. And mentally, it's been really good for her, which I think is great.
I think it is. I think that sounds good.
So maybe we should do this another time.
I would love to.
Let's see what our audience thinks.
2019, will they do it again?
I know. Have a great Monday, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
It
And
happened.
scene.
Stop. Done.
That was great.
Oh, how we do, Papa?